A jury hearing opening statements in the trial of a Squeegee kid charged with murder, what both sides are arguing in their opening statements.
You don't want to ask Maryland taxpayers for any more money.
Fox 45 News holding state leaders accountable for your tax dollars after some troubling financial news out of Annapolis this week. What a possible budget deficit could mean for you. And still ahead, House Republicans say a new chapter in their investigation into the Biden family is about to begin. We have a live report from Capitol Hill ahead of a big hearing tomorrow.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Well, the trial of the Squeegee kid accused of shooting and killing Timothy Reynolds near the Inner Harbor last year continued today. A jury hearing opening statements as 16-year-old Tavon Scott faces a number of charges, including first-degree murder. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Mary Bubala. Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor was in the courtroom today as both sides delivered their opening statements. She has the very latest.
Yeah, this afternoon, both the prosecution and the defense tying their arguments to this same set of dash cam and surveillance video, but with different interpretations of what happened. This as the first set of witnesses take the stand.
The family of Timothy Reynolds, silent outside the courtroom, but inside, emotions running high as 16-year-old Tavon Scott stands trial for their loved one's murder.
Yeah, I got it, bro.
The trial taking place 1 year after police say Scott shot Reynolds following a confrontation at the corner of Light and Conway, 1 day before Scott's 15th birthday. In opening statements, both the prosecution and defense laying out a case where surveillance and dashcam video will play a major role. Fox 45 obtaining stills of the video presented to the jury. The state claiming it depicts Reynolds outnumbered, outmanned, and he was gunned down, shot 5 times.
Once the jury has seen the videos, has listened to the witnesses, learns that the victim was walking away, I think that's going to speak volumes to the jury.
While the defense argues it shows road rage at the highest level that led to an unprovoked attack on children. Scott's attorney, J. Wendell Gordon, going on to claim Reynolds' blood alcohol level was above the legal limit and medication for treating obsessive compulsive disorder also in his system.
We learned that from the autopsy report.
It's not surprising that defense attorneys have to resort to the drama and the distraction and the shameful manufacturing of facts. I don't think the jury's going to fall for it any more than the public will. 2
eyewitnesses among the first to take the stand. Both say they watched as several shots rang out, but neither identifying Scott as the gunman. Giving a clearer picture of what transpired leading up to the deadly encounter, they say they saw Reynolds approaching 3 Squeegee workers, waving a bat as he crossed the street. They also say they saw Reynolds swing the bat 1 time, but when asked if anyone was struck, "I don't believe so," said the first witness. "I couldn't tell if anyone was hit," said the other. They went on to say moments after the bat was swung, the gunman firing shots from at least 5 to 10 feet away. When asked if the distance between the victim and the shooter could cause a wrinkle in the defense's self-defense case.
It doesn't matter. What matters is what was reasonable in the mind of this 14-year-old. Did he reasonably feel that his life was in danger?
That question and Scott's fate now resting in the hands of 12 jurors.
Now, as the trial went on, we also learned that the weapon found at the scene was a ghost gun. That's according to the officer who found it. Earlier this year, BPD had said that an alarming number of Baltimore's youth are getting their hands on ghost guns, with about 40% of all Baltimore's ghost gun offenders under the age of 21. In Baltimore City, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
For our full coverage on the trial, the Squeegee crisis in Baltimore, and more, head to foxbaltimore.com. Well, a 21-year-old man is fighting for his life after police say he was shot in Little Italy. Baltimore police say they received multiple reports of gunshots at around 12:30 Sunday morning. Police say the victim walked into a nearby hospital with life-threatening injuries. Investigators say officers determined the shooting happened near East Pratt and South Exeter Streets in Little Italy, a neighborhood many consider to be safe. So far, no suspects have been arrested, leaving residents on edge.
I'm glad I wasn't sitting out here, but now I'm so nervous. I don't want to come out here, to sit out here. And I'm glad my grandchildren wasn't out here, or none of the neighbor kids, was out here. I'm so glad.
Well, Fox 45 News has confirmed the shooting stemmed from a dispute. There is a nightclub nearby, but it's not clear if that is connected to the incident. Some sobering financial news from Annapolis this week as Maryland is now projecting a 9-figure deficit before the end of the decade. Fox 45's Amy Simpson pressing the governor for answers.
A new report out from the state painting a grim picture of Maryland's financial health over the next few years. And the question is what the impact will be to Maryland taxpayers.
New questions tonight about how Maryland will pay for its legislative promises as this new report is released by the state, pointing to a growing deficit in the coming years.
When Governor Moore came in the office, he made a lot of campaign promises, which meant spend a lot of money in a lot of targeted areas. Well, this year, the General Assembly did that stuff.
According to the report, Maryland will go into the red after this year. In fiscal year 2025, the Department of Legislative Services projects a structural deficit of $418 million. In 2026, a deficit of $572 million. In 2027, a deficit of $328 million. And by fiscal year 2028, this report says Maryland's budget outlook deteriorates substantially, predicting the deficit will soar to $1.8 billion, far exceeding the cash in Maryland's rainy day fund, necessitating significant spending reductions and or increased revenues, the report says.
At the end of the Hogan administration, there was a lot of federal money getting pumped in the state due to COVID. Well, that's gone. So now you have to kind of live on the means that you have.
Former Governor Larry Hogan weighing in this week. I'm saddened to see Maryland return to crushing deficits. Hogan said on Twitter, in 8 years, we turned a record deficit into a record surplus. Maryland can do it again, but we need to return to the playbook of common sense fiscal responsibility, not more spending and taxes.
You don't want to burden Maryland taxpayers with higher taxes. We still have inflation that's elevated. You don't want to ask Maryland taxpayers for any more money. What it boils down to is fiscal responsibility, cutting spending, and looking at the core issues that the government should be taking care of.
In Annapolis today,
even from the budgets from my predecessor, shown that there were challenging economic factors ahead, and there was really 3 factors that we saw for the budget surplus.
Fox 45 News questioning Governor Wes Moore about the looming deficit. The governor pointing out the end of one-time federal funding, recent runs on the stock market, and his commitment to filling thousands of vacant state government jobs. But the governor never directly answering about how he'll pay for this.
This report, though, does say that by 2028, the fiscal year 2028, there will not be enough cash in the rainy day fund to cover these projected expenses.
Yeah, and as I said, people from the state, they know by now that when it comes to our administration, that we will not stop being bold. We will make sure that we are supporting working families and supporting all Marylanders, and at the same time, we're going to be fiscally responsible and thoughtful about the way we are allocating our capital.
And just a few weeks ago, Governor Moore vowed to make the Red Line a reality in Baltimore City. When questioned about the cost, he said they don't have an exact price tag, but did acknowledge that this transportation project would be in the billions. In Annapolis, Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
Concern over state spending comes as the governor announced a new round of federal funding to help close the digital divide. The governor joined by state and local leaders today announcing more than $267 million for high-speed internet investment across the state. Millions more will be used to fund improvements at libraries and provide internet service to low-income families. Speakers say improving Wi-Fi statewide is critical. Well, several states' attorneys across Maryland concerned a new law will lead to more illegal guns on the streets of Maryland. The passage of House Bill 1071 means law enforcement officers can no longer use the odor of marijuana as probable cause to search a vehicle. Supporters of the bill argue the new law will help eliminate cases of racial profiling in the state. Critics, however, worry that it may only lead to more crime.
Very often when we do those searches, we find illegal guns, and now they won't be able to do that. Every drug murder that I can recall in the last several years has always been over marijuana. It has not been over any other drugs.
Well, the new law also says an officer cannot initiate a search based on the presence of cash in proximity to marijuana without other signs that there is an intent to distribute.
Now, a Fox 45 News Alert in 3, 2, 1.
President Biden welcomed Israeli President Isaac Herzog to the White House today amid tensions with the Israeli Prime Minister. The Oval Office meeting was meant to demonstrate the United States' commitment to Israel and its security 75 years after the country's establishment. The meeting also underscored lingering tensions between Biden and the Israeli Prime Minister, who has not visited Washington since returning to office last year. Yesterday, the White House said Biden and the Prime Minister will meet in the coming months in the United States. As part of his visit, President Herzog is set to address Congress tomorrow. Mary?
Thank you. Well, Baltimore County Police announcing they will start using shot spotter gun detection technology in Wilkins and Essex. Baltimore City has been using the shot spotter for years. The technology uses sensors to pick up the sound of gunfire and pinpoint the number of shots fired as well as the location of those shots. The technology will notify officers of gunshots within 60 seconds. The program will begin next week in the county. Well, Baltimore police releasing a new video of a person they believed is involved in a non-fatal shooting. It happened on May 23rd around noon along Baker Street. Police say this person was seen walking down an alley and ditching his sweater just moments after the shooting. Police are offering a $4,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest in this case. Anybody with information is asked to call police.
I'm Christine Frizzau on Capitol Hill, where House Republicans say a new explosive chapter in their investigation into the Biden family is just about to begin.
And here's some news to smile about as we take a look at our air quality readings. Brand new, newly out. You're now out of code orange for tomorrow and Thursday. I'm going to let you know if the heat's going to return too, though. My Weather Authority forecast.
Appreciate you trying. Well, tonight, Republicans on Capitol Hill continue to build their case against Hunter Biden, the flow of money that came from his business dealings, and if his father even played a role. National correspondent Christine Frizzau is live on Capitol Hill with more on what Republicans say will be an explosive hearing tomorrow. Christine?
Mary, so GOP investigators have gotten more and more evidence in the form of bank records and suspicious activity reports from Hunter Biden. But they're also bringing forth a new witness and are teasing what they reveal will bring the investigation closer and closer to Joe Biden himself.
Previous allegations from whistleblowers involved in the Hunter Biden investigation have now been confirmed by the FBI supervisor in charge that both the Secret Service and members of the Biden transition team were tipped off in advance by the FBI. Agents were told to wait outside his residence, instructed not to approach Hunter Biden, and as a result, never interviewed him. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer billing the upcoming hearing as a way for Americans to hear the truth.
In the form of bank statements and bank records and bank violations, emails, text messages, things like that, things we call evidence.
Previously released bank records show Hunter Biden made millions from companies overseas, some with ties to the Chinese Communist Party, others from Russia, plus the Ukrainian energy company Burisma. While he already reached a deal to plead guilty to 2 lower-level tax crimes, House Republicans argue there were more major crimes committed, plus the engagement of several family members in what they call a cover-up.
They really did set up a myriad of dozens of LLCs through which to flow the money. And it was clearly designed to obscure the fact that money coming from overseas.
Democrats and the White House argue it's all a political stunt to try to divert attention from the legal troubles of former President Trump.
They're acting as his defense attorney, his campaign operative, and everything in between.
As Republicans maintain, their findings show a business built on selling access to Joe Biden while he served as vice president.
The larger question, of course, is did Joe Biden personally profit from these deals? And if that's the case, look out. We have got a massive scandal that is about to explode in Washington, D.C.
So stay tuned for tomorrow. The hearing will feature 2 whistleblowers. One is IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley, who we've seen in television interviews. But there will also be another witness who has never gone public before. Mary?
And Christine, why do Republicans think Joe Biden was possibly or allegedly involved in any of this?
Yeah, so the accusation is that not only did Joe Biden, in fact, know about his son's businesses back from the time he was vice president. You know, we've heard in the past he says he didn't know, but they're also saying that the current Justice Department, that as president he some ways oversees, is mishandling the investigation, giving beneficial treatment to Hunter and perhaps others that these whistleblowers say is unprecedented.
All right, we'll be watching. Christine Frizzau reporting from Capitol Hill tonight for us. Thank you.
Fox Triplecast this evening showing some hazy skies on the Toyota East Unit Harbor Skycam and the Mile 1 Towson Cam, and really the latest weather maker, fair weather high pressure that's overhead right now, and that's what's keeping most rain away and also keeping the bad air quality in. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening right now in terms of air quality. Again, some good news. It looks like tomorrow everybody's going to be out of this at this point, but for the rest of today into this evening, a code orange air quality alert is in effect. That means that those sensitive groups, the very young, the elderly, and those folks that have pre-existing respiratory issues, they're going to have to spend some extra time inside. And there's that hazy sun with some of that poor air quality. It's actually low-level or ground-level ozone that's causing the trouble. Ozone upstairs in the atmosphere, a good thing. Ozone at the surface, that is not healthy to breathe. So that is, again, why we have the code orange air quality alert. 88 degrees, winds out of the west-southwest at 9 miles an hour, humidity at 43%, and a feels-like temperature at 90. So, you know what? With the temperatures in the mid to upper 80s and relatively comfortable humidity, aside from the bad air quality, temperatures don't feel that bad. It's, again, about the temperature here on the heat index in Baltimore. 91 at Cockeysville, 90 at Westminster, and 90 at Frederick, 91 at Stevensville. HG radar quiet for now, although there are some severe storms that are out to the west. There's a marginal risk, a level 1 of 5 risk of severe weather around here tonight into tomorrow. But that's if any of this actually makes it. And there's only a spot chance of getting some of these storms, as most of this weather maker kind of diffuses, if you will, as it moves its way toward us. But again, there may be enough energy to get a spot storm. You can see that here overnight, especially after midnight. There are some of those spotty leftover showers around. They kind of diminish as they're moving through. So you may wake up to a sprinkle or a shower. And then through tomorrow, a spot shower here and there. High temperatures getting to near 90 once again. Could make it a little mini heat wave. 69 becoming mostly cloudy for tonight. 90 mostly cloudy. Hot again tomorrow. Could see a spot storm. I'm going to break down your 10-day forecast, let you know how long we stay in the 90s coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Summer monsoon season started Monday in Nevada, but even with up to 3/4 of an inch of rain, temperatures today are expected to once again top 110 degrees. While smoky skies are reducing air quality in many parts of the country, they also help make for some gorgeous sunrises, like this one over a cattle field in Michigan.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
A new study revealing more about students learning during the pandemic, how one Virginia parent is calling attention to learning loss. A new study is giving more insight into the pandemic's impact on academic achievement. Kelly Lynn with our Sinclair sister station in Washington spoke with one parent who says schools in the area still don't have a plan to address learning loss.
On August 28th, schools that now stand empty in Arlington, Virginia will be bustling with students. But where will the new school year take them when it comes to achievement?
We haven't really put into place a comprehensive plan to address learning loss.
Arlington Public Schools mother of three and school board candidate Miranda Turner met with me to discuss the results of this national study. Researchers with the Northwest Evaluation Association, or NWEA, analyzed math and reading test scores from 6.7 million students in grades 3rd through 8th to gauge progress in the 2022-23 school year.
We found that students' academic recovery had really stalled.
Megan Kufeld of NWEA tells me while there was some growth, achievement gains did not meet pre-pandemic progress in most grades.
We weren't really seeing much catch-up happening during this last school year.
Kufeld says older children had the most significant losses in math. Black and Hispanic students also lagged in academic recovery. Researchers estimate most students would need about 4.5 months of math and a little over 4 months of reading instruction to recover.
The exception, the youngest students in the study, who made above average achievement gains.
The researchers hope the findings will help influence recovery efforts and the distribution of support at schools. Turner wants to see improvements in Arlington this upcoming school year.
We need to find ways to provide extra tutoring to potentially lengthen the school day or school year, to provide a more robust summer school, to leverage opportunities like extended day, and to leverage community organizations that provide additional instructional time.
For Fox 45, I'm Kelly Lynn.
All right, your exclusive 10-day forecast up to 90 tomorrow. Could see a spot storm or two. It's certainly more the exception than the rule. Some spotty PM storms on Thursday. Friday, we're at 90, so several days in 90s going. 87 on Saturday. It looks like 90s throughout all the way well into next week.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, finally tonight, Nextdoor revealing its 2023 Neighborhood Faves list for Baltimore. For breakfast and brunch, Miss Shirley's Cafe took the top spot. Best Mexican restaurant went to El Salto. And last but not least, best dessert is Fenwick Bakery. Some other local favorites that made the list are the Charmery. They have the best ice cream in